Good morning. Has anybody already made a mistake of what year? You're writing it down? Something like you wrote down the wrong year yet? Because what year is this? What? What year is this? 20? 2026?
6 and 7. 6 and 7.
Oh, man. Leave it to Kevin. Yep. I don't know. It feels kind of like a strange beginning of the year. Does anybody feel that way?
Yes.
Clearly, there's a few people.
A little bit.
Yeah. Brian's got some changes. Amandy's got some changes. Yeah, it's like a weird start. It just doesn't feel like a fresh beginning almost. What? But Andrea says it does. What's that? It is January, yes. Coming off of a break. So anyways, we are finishing Matthew chapter 7. And, well, we're not finishing today. We got a couple weeks. But we are almost done with the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7. And we've been working on this for, when did we start this, Lindley? Do you remember? October?
Yeah, probably.
September, October, something like that. We've been in this for a while. And so hopefully, if you remember when we started this, do you remember what I said about these chapters? Anybody? That was a long time ago. Yeah, Aaron?
We could stay on it all year.
We could stay on it all year. Yeah, that would be close. But I said these are in my opinion, the 3 chapters that, man, if you just knew these chapters, this would guide your life. These 3 chapters alone could guide your life. These are some of the most powerful, impactful words that Yeshua taught that I think that we need to read over and over, memorize, study, dig into, and just allow them to be on your hearts. So let's get into this. Matthew chapter 7, let's finish chapter 7, verses 1 through 6. Somebody read for me.
I'm not reading that.
I'm not reading that. I know, that's a tough one, right? Nobody wants to read that, huh? All right, let me read it then. Verse 1. Do not judge, lest you be judged. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And with the same measure you use, it shall be measured to you. And why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank in your own eye? Or how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye, and see, a plank is in your own eye? Hypocrite! First remove the plank from your own eye, and then you shall see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eye. Do not give what is set apart to the dogs, nor throw your pearls before the pigs, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you into pieces. I mean, we could kind of just close the service out with that, right?
I'm glad you read that slowly because I would have stumbled over all.
Well, while I was listening, I heard Corey say that's not even in his Bible. I think that's not in there. Is that what you said?
No, it's in the Bible. I was like, where's it at?
It's not in mine. It's gone. Yeah, that's a rough one. Do not judge. What do we usually judge the most?
Other people.
Other people? Okay.
Our spouses.
Thank you for being honest. Our spouses. All right. What else?
Ourselves.
Ourselves. Okay. Can be. Yep. What else?
When at fault, everyone else but ourselves.
Okay. People. Anybody else? Anything else? Politics?
Nature.
Judge nature. Okay. Bosses, for sure. Leadership, always. Anything else?
Everything else.
Everything else.
We judge the hypocrites. We're hypocritical when we judge the hypocrites.
We judge the hypocrites, yes. So let's add a little context culture to this just briefly. Who's the audience here, if we remember?
Jews.
Jews, okay. Anything about these specific people that's important? Is it just Jews?
Talking about these specific.
Too.
What?
God-fearers also.
There might have been some God-fearers in there, yeah. I mean, for sure, we know, not just Jews, we know that it's his disciples that are sitting here, that he's speaking to this message to. And then there's a large group of people that are maybe overhearing this. So there's a lot of Jews, especially those who are following him as a rabbi. And so this verse, the reason I bring that up is because sometimes a lot of people love to use this verse to twist sometimes and to say, see, you shouldn't judge me. You know, don't judge my sin. You got your own sin. You know, we love to then use that to downplay, well, what really is sin? You know, is it okay to sin? Is there anything wrong with what I'm doing? I mean, who are you to judge me for what I'm doing? And so I bring that up because we have to remember, what is the context of these people? Who is he speaking to? Because the last thing that I think Yeshua would want is these words to be twisted to make what I'm doing that's wrong seem to be okay. And so as I look at this, I have to go back because these people are not just Jews, but the Jews follow what? Not the priests. What's the main book that they follow? The Torah. They follow the law. They follow the words that God gave to Moses. And he started this an entire sermon on two things. What were the two things that he started this entire sermon on? Do you remember? There was a big chunk of them that we spent 7 weeks talking about, the paradoxes of life. Yep, the Beatitudes. Absolutely. And then right after the Beatitudes, somebody read to me Matthew 5:17 through 20.
Do not think that I have come to abolish the law of the prophets. You said 5:17?
Yes, sir, through 20.
The law of the prophets, I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota, not a dot will pass from the law until it is all accomplished. Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven.
So the beginning of this whole message, Yeshua says, okay, here's the bar. And here's what is expected from the leaders. You said don't judge the leaders. Here's what's expected from the leadership of this group of people. They follow this law. But I expect you to go above and beyond that. I'm raising the bar for the Torah. Now he says, but don't judge. I'm expecting you to follow your leaders and do more than them, and I have higher expectations from you, but don't judge while you're doing this. How do we not judge people? Because there's one point in the Torah where we're supposed to judge people, because if you are not following this or you're breaking this, that is judgment, right? Because my job is to then confront you and say, Kevin, why are you doing this, man? You shouldn't be doing this. So this is like another paradox. Like, how do I do these two things without, not being a judgmental person?
But isn't it that you're judging? Judge not, lest ye be judged, and you'll be judged in the same manner. So as a community, we need what's the word? Accountability.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
Me accounting for you, giving you accountability, and you giving me accountability, that would be okay in my book.
Yep, and in a relationship, that's perfect. We need that. But sometimes even within that or outside that, we love to just judge people regardless. And sometimes we judge people even that we're in a relationship with, and we're talking about them. Oh my gosh, can you believe that this person did this? Or Lindley did this? Or Kevin did that? I mean, oh my gosh, like we love to talk about people. We love to judge people. And so one of the things that I learned And I think this is extremely important in relationships, because whether you work with somebody or your family member or a friend that you're in relationship with, sometimes there are things that people do that just piss you off. And you know that, why are you acting this way? Or why are you saying this? Why are you doing this thing? Because this isn't okay. And we love to then judge that person and say how wrong that they are for what they're doing. And one of the things that I wanted to give to you today was a new rule. And I learned this a long time ago. Rather than judge, I want you to do this first. I give you a new rule. Seek first to understand. Seek first to understand. If you've heard me speak over the years, you've heard me say this many times. Everyone is broken. Everyone comes from some type of suffering or some type of insecurity. Everyone. Everyone is wearing a mask. Everyone. Everyone wants people to see them as this, as this type of person. Everyone wears a mask because they want to portray themselves as one way, but it's a mask. And then also with that, everyone pretends that they're not wearing a mask. Oh, I'm not wearing a mask. This is who I am. This is authentic. This is who I want you to see me as. So I pretend like I'm not wearing a mask, but everyone wears a mask. And everyone is a product of some type of suffering and reward. We're all broken in some way. And usually, as I seek first to understand, I have to recognize why. Kevin, why are you saying these things? Aaron, why are you saying these things? What's going on in your life that instead of me just getting pissed off and just being mad and judging you for why you're doing this, maybe I should first seek why. Why are you thinking this? Why are you saying this? Why are you acting in this manner? One of the things that I've learned, and just briefly want to share this, is that most of our reactions, the way we treat people, the way we react to certain situations, typically comes from our childhood. In our childhood, there are three things that are absolutely essential for children: safety, friends, and rewards. If one of those things are missing, that will show up in relationships later on in life. That will show up in situations later on. How people react comes from, if I didn't have safety growing up in my house, a lot of times you find adults who are avoiders. Or if they didn't have safety, maybe they have to control things in their life because nothing was safe growing up in their house. So now they have to have absolute control. Or maybe something that wasn't safe in their lives. And so as an adult, they're always apologizing for something because everything was going wrong with them in their childhood. So now they feel like they have to apologize for all of the other things that are happening in their life as an adult. Or maybe they grew up and they didn't have friends, true friends, good friends, genuine friends that loved them. And so now those people grow up as adults as people pleasers, always looking to seek to find some type of friendship or just, I want your approval. Or maybe those are the people that are the overachievers and I didn't have friends growing up, so I have to make sure that I'm better than everybody else. Sometimes those are the chameleons as well. Who you are to one person, you're a different person to every single person that you come in contact with because you have to try to fit in. You have to be liked. Or maybe you're someone who grew up in a home where you weren't rewarded. You weren't told, good job, proud of you. You did well on this. Now as an adult, you're always seeking somebody else's approval. A spouse, a boss, a friend. Maybe you're putting on a performance so people see you a certain way. Or maybe you're always chasing status. You're looking for that next promotion or that next thing to prove, I am worthy of this. I do deserve to be happy. And how many times when those things come out of us, everybody judges them. We judge those reactions from people. And what I'm asking you today is, instead of just judging them, maybe we should seek first to understand, where's this coming from? Why? Why are you feeling this way? Why are you saying these things? Why are you acting this way? Maybe there's something deep and buried within them, the hurt, the pain. And what we are experiencing right now in this moment is that trauma or that pain or that brokenness from years and years ago that had nothing to do with them, but was inflicted upon them. Or if we have enough self-awareness, maybe we can look in the mirror and say, wait, why am I acting this way? Why do I need to always feel like my wife has to give me approval for doing something? Hey, look, honey, I did the dishes. Hey, look, honey, I mowed the lawn. Hey, look, honey, look what I did. Why do I need? What's wrong with me? Where's this coming from? Why do I always need her approval?
It's called wisdom.
Well, yes, that comes. Which is why we need self-awareness.
You want to let her know. Hey, big, I was thinking about you. I did this and that.
Yeah, but what is that? That's seeking approval, right? That comes from something. I need her approval. I need her reward to make me feel better. But why can't I just do the dishes or do the lawn? Just because. Why do I need to do this? Why do I need to tell somebody what I did so that I can get their approval? Where is this coming from? And where do I need to heal that?
Because you overanalyze all this stuff. I mean, everything I do in my life fits into one of those categories.
Yeah.
I mean, so you just have to go ahead and put a bullet in your head. I mean,
Oh, that's a good point. Walt?
Oh, whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa.
It's not about putting a bullet in your head. It's about pulling the bullet out of your body. How many times have you heard me say this? Especially in the Christian church, we spend a lot of time putting Band-Aids on bullet wounds. And we cover up, we mask this stuff. We mask I'm seeking approval, but hey, thank you, Lord. We mask all of this stuff, but we never allow God to actually go in and pull the bullet wound out, which is why we need the self-awareness, which is the wisdom. The wisdom is having the self-awareness of, why am I feeling this way? And instead of seeking approval from Andrea, maybe I go to God and say, God, why am I feeling this way? Why do I need this? Where is my genuine love come from? Does my love have to come from Andrea and all these other people, or does genuine love actually come from you? Does my healing come from my friends and my family, or does healing come from God alone? The wisdom is, instead I should recognize what are the things that I'm feeling and why am I feeling it, so I can take them to the feet of God, as opposed to somebody else who will always fail me. I'm sorry, you will fail me. And look at the person next to you. That person will fail you too. Because is there anyone in this room who's perfect? Is there anyone in this room who's not broken? So we will all fail you. So why do I continue to go to these people to find ways to heal me when you can't?
Because you can see them and you can touch them.
Yes, that is legitimate. Amen. And that's the hard part.
and we're also designed
Yes.
that way.
But I think
Yes.
there has to be some sort of balance, because this is not bad. These are not bad things. It is not bad. Like, we're created to have relationships
Yes.
with people. We are created to,
Comfort.
yes, like, do all of
Be
these things.
appreciative.
So it's not that it's bad. It's that you have to
It's a balance.
know when
Well, I take that back.
when it becomes unhealthy or bad.
Correct. And nowhere did I say that we shouldn't have relationships. It's just that I can't, well, but why do I seek approval is my point. Maybe is it to fill the need that I have? Like, maybe it's a struggle for some people. Like, I'm always looking for approval from somebody. If I'm always looking for approval, why? Why do I have to fill that
Because
need?
this triangle tells me that this is necessary for proper development.
Yes.
And that's how God created me. So
Yes.
there has to be an element of like it being okay. It's just you have to know when it's too much.
And as a parent, your job is to tell your kids, good job. You did a good job on this. Well done. Your job is to affirm them. Your job is to reward your children so they grow up with a healthy amount of reward.
But you could over reward.
And when they don't, yes, and that's why there's no such thing as balance, right? You've heard me say it's push and pull, right? You can give too much or you can give not enough. And there's this right amount where it's never balanced, but it's push and pull, push and pull. You have to know the right amount to give and the right amount to maybe push your children a little bit more. And we struggle with that in society. And that's why, and that's...
So I have a question for you. I see that up there, but what you don't see up there, right,
Yep.
is correction
Yeah.
or discipline. Anything like that.
But that's a different topic. Yes, but that's true. Yeah.
But this is a development.
Yeah.
But I think correction
Hang on, let him
goes under
finish.
safety.
Correction. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what I was just about to say.
So
That
you
goes
think,
on the
see,
safety.
okay.
Yeah,
All right, I'm good with
because if
that.
you don't have that as a kid, you would never feel safe.
And
Grow up
Matt,
feral.
I think the other thing is what you're saying
Feral.
up here.
Yes.
What you're talking about, why do you have to get it from people? And we become dependent.
Yes.
And we put unrealistic expectations
Correct.
on that person. And that's like a dependency, like just whether it's on drugs or alcohol, but we depended. Oh man, she didn't even notice that I even did the dishes, right? Instead of, like what you're saying is, God's your source.
Right.
Right? So, you can see that.
What'd you say?
We become the swine.
What do you mean by that?
If we don't listen to the pearls about this development stuff, and we're not listening to what the Bible's saying, and we're just going by our own thoughts, then we're the swine that doesn't listen to the Bible and
Right.
just does what we
We
want.
just trample it.
I mean, doesn't this go back on like the whole goat and sheep passage?
Mhm.
That, we all want to be sheep and not goat because we're not trying to make everybody see that our light's shinier and brighter than yours, and we want to make sure that we're just following in his example.
Right.
In his lead.
Well, the goats do what they want. They don't pay attention. They're not aware. What do the goats say? When did we see you? When did we see you in need? When were you in jail? When were you hungry? When were you thirsty? We didn't ever see this. There was no self-awareness. There was no awareness at all of what's going on around them. They were only concerned about themselves, which is a lot of what happens when we have these needs, and it's subconscious too. We're trying to constantly fill this need of what's broken inside of us, and we seek it in the wrong places. Whether it be we seek from people or we seek from alcohol or we seek from drugs, we're trying to fill this need of brokenness that we have inside of us. I mean, how many people start out doing drugs because they call it self-medicating, right? I'm gonna self-medicate because it fills the void that I have in my life. And where does that lead? Instead of finding true healing, which, yes, there's love and joy that comes from a spouse, a partner, a friend, a genuine person, but that's still just a Band-Aid because they can't bring ultimate healing to our lives. Go to your verse. That was an interesting thing that you said, 7:6. Yeah.
Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you.
That is a good way to see that. I didn't put that in there, but that's a great way to see it. Are we the swine? Are we the swine that's not listening to the words of the master? Are we the ones that just, we hear it, but we don't do anything with it? We just ignore it. I think of like, sometimes when I first read this passage, I was thinking of how often do we try to convince people of our opinion? I'm gonna convince you. And if I just have the right words and if I can just say it in the right way, I can convince you that I'm right. And then what happens when I don't convince you?
You lose and you're mad.
And then what do we say? Oh, you're just an idiot. He doesn't know. He's ignorant. He doesn't know he doesn't even understand the words that I'm saying, or he doesn't know what's right. We start to judge instantly because we're trying to convince somebody of something and it just doesn't work. And how often does that happen in marriage, and how often does that happen in church too? In evangelism. I got to try to convince you with the right words. And if I can convince you or use the right words to show how true this word of God is, you'll just believe in God completely. And then it doesn't work. And you say, well, you're just going to hell. God clearly had a plan for you to go to hell. That's why you're here. Evangelism, when I was taught back in the day, it was all about creating just persuasive arguments to convince people. And I realized that that is so wrong. And what I realized years later was that it's not what people say, it's what people do. I don't believe that the goal in life is to convince people with words. I believe that the goal in life is to be an influence to people. And where does influence come from? It's not in what I say. Because all of us, well, I shouldn't say all of us, a lot of us grew up in the environment of do as I say, not as I do. But we've read in this text, in the Sermon on the Mount, over and over and over, that the model is about, the idea of influence is about modeling. It's about how you live your life, not what you say, but what you do. We've talked about, I got a few passages up here. Somebody look up John 13, somebody look up Philippians. You look up Philippians 2. Matthew 28. Stay on Matthew 5:16, Alex. 5:16. Now, most of you probably have this passage memorized. We've talked about it so many times. Matthew 28:19 says, "Therefore go and make taught ones of all nations, immersing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to guard," blah, blah, blah. We've talked on that many times, but we've also shown that that's actually a bad translation. It shouldn't say, therefore, go and make disciples. What does it say? In your going, teach. In your going. That's the emphasis. The emphasis isn't on go, and therefore the emphasis is on when you go to work, when you rise, when you go to bed, when you talk with your friends. In your going, teach. How do we teach in our going? How we live our life, by what you do. How you treat your spouse, how you treat your friend, how you treat your coworker, by doing what's right when people are like, well, should we break this, or should we not follow the rules, or should we break? No. Let's not talk poorly about these people. Let's not do this. Let's be a model of goodness. What does 5 say? 5:16?
In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who's in heaven.
Let your light shine by speaking really loudly, or being a great orator, or what does it say? By doing what? By how you live your life so that people can see what you do and give praise to who? You?
No, to the Father in heaven.
God.
To God. Not to you. John 13, who's got that?
New commandment I give to you, that you love one another, just as I have loved you, and also are to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another.
Not by what you say, but by how you act, how you live. Can I see your love to your spouse? Can I see your love to your children? Can I see your love to your coworkers, your boss, your children, your friends? Philippians.
Do everything without grumbling or arguing, so that you may become blameless and pure, children of God without fault in a warped and crooked generation. Then you will shine among them like stars in the sky.
How many people love to work with complainers? Aren't they the funnest people to work with? They just complain about everything all day long. They're great, right?
It's just wonderful ball of joy.
Contagious.
It's contagious. We are human beings are people whose emotions are contagious. So when people are complaining and complaining all day long, then we start to complain. And then we come home and we complain. And our spouse is like, why are you complaining? What's wrong? But for the person who works with somebody who's just always joyful, grateful, thankful that you're here. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Let me show you what we're doing today. Somebody who's just got this bundle of joy, like you want to be near them because you just feel good all the time. Even when things go bad, when things break, like, that's okay, we'll just improvise. We'll make this work. Improvise, we'll adapt, we'll overcome. We got this. Those people are fun to work with and to be around. But nobody likes to be around the complainers and all the other things that we struggle with. We are to be a magnet. All of those things, all those passages, those are all ways that people are drawn to you and want to be near you like a magnet. I was looking this up yesterday and I said, I asked Google, I said, how does a magnet lose its magnetism? Is it possible? I wasn't sure about that. Like when these two forces are drawn together, is there any way that that magnet doesn't work anymore? It said when the internal magnetic domains become disordered. When there's no order, when it loses its order, when it becomes disordered, it starts to lose its magnetism. Also, extreme heat, physical impacts. This was one, corrosion. When corrosion enters into something and it demagnetizes the magnets. Is there anything in our life that causes corrosion? That causes chaos? That causes our minds to start thinking in a negative, terrible way, or in a judgmental way, or the things that just our minds start to become corroded by maybe things we're taking in all the time, whether it's words from people or friends or family members or your phones. Is there anything that corrodes your inner soul that separates you from being magnetic to other people? These disrupt the organized structure, and they weaken the overall strength of a magnet. And what did Yeshua say right after your passage? Be the light. Right before that, he said, you are to be the salt of the world. What happens if salt loses its saltiness? What happens when a magnet loses its magnetism?
Remagnetize a magnet, though.
You can.
The little orange thing.
Amen.
The little orange thing at Home Depot.
You can remagnetize, and that's why I like the magnet better, because sometimes we fall. Sometimes we become disordered. Sometimes chaos rules our life, and sometimes God and maybe friends and community needs to bring us back to something orderly.
You need a more powerful magnet to magnetize a magnet.
Did you hear that? Say that again.
You need a more powerful magnet to remagnetize a magnet.
So like God.
Sounds like.
And salt can only be diluted, it doesn't lose its saltiness.
Thanks, Walt.
I'm not making a negative thing, I'm making a positive thing.
Okay.
I got an old saying.
I'm agreeing with you that when we get polluted, when we get
Salty.
If we're polluted, we'll lose our magnetism, just like your
Yes.
corrosiveness. That's
Yes.
the point I was trying to make.
Gotcha. What are you going to say, Kevin?
Is a Dale Carnegie course that I took over 20 years ago, and I it stuck with me. And I never really thought about it as a religious way, but long after the words were said, they will always remember how you make them feel.
Right.
So that's like my life. That's what I do. That's what I say all the time. And I never knew it was,
Perfect. We're going to get to that in just 1 second. Actually, I'm going to come back to you then. 2025, Aaron printed up. I asked you these questions last year, and Aaron did a great job putting these on like little cards for you to carry around. I don't know if everybody still has your card. This was last year's Pause and Reflect. The questions were, what did I change my mind on this year? What created energy this year? What sucked energy this year? What were boat anchors in my life? Like, as in, what was holding me back in my life? What did I not do because of fear? What did I do really well this year? And what did I learn this year? These were last year's questions. And if you need these again, these are great questions. We can print you up another one. This year, I wanted to create a focus for you this year that I wanted for 2026. I wanted you to have a focus that you would see or think about every week, if not every day. And it's one passage that I want you to memorize and know, and it's Psalm 46:10. Some of you have heard this passage, know this passage before. Be still and know that I am God. Anybody know this passage? Be still and know that I am God. And there's four patterns. Next slide. There's 4 patterns that I want you to write down and implement this year. And I want them to become regular patterns that are a part of your rhythm of life. The first one, as we think about this passage, be still and know that I am God. I think most people, not all people, but most people struggle with being people pleasers. I thought the first pattern I want us to focus on is to stop seeking to please people, and instead recognize, be still, and know that I live for an audience of one. To be still and know that I live for an audience of one. Instead of seeking approval or seeking to please other people, my job is to just think, okay, God, is this what you want? If I genuinely mean what I say when I say the prayer, Father, your will be done, your kingdom come. Do I really mean those words? And if so, then the only person that I should be seeking approval from is God. Am I doing your will, Lord? Stop trying to please everybody else around you. I just want to please one. That's it. The relief that comes from that is I don't feel like I got to try to please all these people. Now my only concern is like one person, one God only. That's it. Everything else then is a byproduct if that happens. The way I treat you, if I'm truly pursuing God and wanting to seek him and apply this stuff to my life, then everything else should be a byproduct that you should feel from me.
Brother, if I may, I'm noticing this, your entire message is surrounded around 2 verses that come to mind. In all things, put God first. Mm-hmm. And also, judge with righteous judgment.
Mm-hmm. And that's where you have to be careful, right? Because righteousness, but that's why being connected is the most important thing. Number 1, stop pleasing people. 2, fundamentals matter. Any coaches in here? Dave's a coach. Any other coaches? Are fundamentals important when you're teaching little 7-year-olds? 100%. Are fundamentals important when you're coaching college athletes? I don't know if any of you watched the games over the weekend. You know, the upsets were great. You know, some of the coaches were like, look, we focus on the fundamentals for efficiency and effectiveness. We do these things really well. And if we do these things really well, we win. And they weren't talking about the schematics or the new plays or the fancy stuff. It was the basics of blocking your person. It was the basics of running the routes. The fundamentals of life are crucial.
I don't know if anybody remembers this guy, Tim Duncan. Like said, his game was boring, but they call him the big fundamental after 4 or 5 championships.
Tim Duncan was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they called him the big fundamental.
Right. Tim Duncan, yeah, before your age, yeah. What are the fundamentals that God gives us? Right? The first one, well, the Beatitudes, but before that, I would say the first fundamental is Sabbath. Be still and know that this day is God's day. Be still and know that this day I stop all the things that cause me stress. I stop all the work. And it's this day that my job is to just enjoy this day and rest with him, rest with my family, to laugh, to enjoy, to not think about all the things that I have to do tomorrow or on Monday. My job is to just be present with the people that I'm with and love them and laugh with them and enjoy them. All the other things will take care of themselves later. But it's the Sabbath that I'm supposed to be still and know that this day was created for me. The other fundamentals is, man, are you in this? Is this a part of the fundamentals of life that you add to your life? Are you allowing this word, the words that are on this text, to be absorbed into your heart so that you can, number one, stop pleasing people and just live for an audience of one? Okay, I need to know the fundamentals of life, so I'm just going to absorb this so that it comes out of me. Do I spend time in prayer just asking, Lord, how can I serve today? How can I be a vessel today? How can I be a light today? Maybe for some of you, it's silence, just listening. Maybe for some, it's journaling, but there are fundamentals that God has said. These are just the basic things for you to become who I created you to be, to become the best version of yourself. But you can't do that without the fundamentals. And all the fancy plays that you want to do in life, that's great, but without the fundamentals, something will break down, something will come apart, the wheels will come off at some point. The fundamentals are important. We created a reading plan for 2026. It is a reading plan based off of the reading plan that Yeshua and his disciples would have read. They had a 3-year reading plan that they read the Torah and the prophets in. And so we copied that, and we added the apostolic writings, the Gospels, and some of the other wisdom literature is in here. But it's not a lot of reading. It's like 3 to 4 chapters a week, so it's not a ton. But it's an opportunity for you to just slowly absorb this stuff into your life and make it a fundamental. Sometimes we get on these reading plans like read the Bible in a year, which is great. I did that many times, but it's a lot of reading. And so many people like January, like, I'm going to work out, I'm going to go to the gym. 7 days later, they quit. We created this plan so that it's just a small atomic habit, just a little bit at a time, and you keep doing this fundamental a little bit at a time, and it grows into something strong. So these plans will be up here after service. The fundamentals are important. They matter. Number 3, love yourself so you can love others. Be still and know that I am loved. Be still and know that I am a child of God. Be still and know that I am enough. Because you are enough. You don't have to keep proving to other people that you're, this great thing, or you need to have this, or you need to be like, you're enough. And you are good. God created you good. Be still and know that I am a treasured possession. That he looks at me and treasures me. Love yourself. Know that you are loved so that you can then love other people. And the last one, this goes to what Kevin was saying. Find joy in the little things. What are the things that you remember about your past? I've done a lot of funerals. What are the things that people talk about at funerals? It's not the money, it's not the house, it's not the purchases, it's not the material things. What is it?
The good things. Like,
Well, what are the good things? What did you say?
Memory or character.
The memories of what?
Their life. What they did. What they didn't do.
What they did, maybe with you. That's usually what's talked about at the funeral. When I was in need or when I went to this thing, it's the experiences that we have with people that we remember. When we went on this trip together and we laughed and we played games, or when I hung out with Lindley, we did this thing together. It was the things that matter, as you just said. I have all this work to do, and I need to go get a haircut. And when I went in and I saw Bill's face, all of a sudden what? Everything went away. And it was just that moment of conversation. It's the little things that genuinely matter that sometimes we ignore because we have so much work to do. We have this thing to accomplish. But really, what matters? It's when you get to hang out with your child and like, this was fun and we had this day together. One of the things that I'll miss, and you said it at the beginning, are you going to miss when you don't take your kids to school? Yeah. I already miss taking the boys to school every day. I miss that. I have one left. I will miss that because that time with them, I can't get it back. So instead of thinking about the work that I have to do or all this other stuff that I got the schedule I got to keep, I got 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the car. I'm just going to enjoy this with you right now. We're just going to talk and laugh because that's what matters.
I always say this to some of my friends. I say it's like younger guys. I tell them this, that the biggest impact is not you being on the pulpit. It's about talking to people. It's that janitor that's cleaning up the church or doing something like that who is talking to people. That is the biggest impact. You may not see it, but he touches heart. So he does. You may never see it, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the things that are. It's not the convincing words that you use. It's just the time together. Sometimes we need to be still and know that I should slow down and just enjoy this moment because I don't get it back. So those are the 4 things that I'm going to ask throughout the year. Hopefully we can focus on those. Stop pleasing people and just live for an audience of one. Remember the fundamentals that God has given you. These are the fundamentals that will make you successful. These are the fundamentals that will make you who I've created you to be. Love yourself. Love yourself so you can love other people. And enjoy the little things in life, because that's what matters. Father, thank you for this morning. Thank you for an opportunity to just begin this year focused on you. May our hearts be open and allow you to guide us. We do not want to be the swine or the pigs who just trample over your words. We want to absorb them into our hearts. We want them to guide us and lead us so that we can be a light, a magnet for you. That you are the great power that magnetizes us. We thank you for this community. We thank you for an opportunity to love each other in this community. And we praise your holy name. Amen. A few announcements, I think. Two weeks, January 17th, 2 weeks. We won't be meeting here. We'll be meeting in that room over there, and it's the conference. If most of you guys went to the conference last year, and so this is, we're just continuing to try to make a difference in this community. Try to ignite people, to motivate people, to influence them, to want to live more for God every single day. And so For His Glory Conference is an idea of rising up. And the theme this year is about family, to rise up, to take responsibility for what God has given us. And it doesn't matter whether you're a parent or not, it is applicable in all things because every one of you has been given a gift from God. The question is, what are you doing with that gift? Are you stewarding what God has given you to the best of your ability? And so please bring somebody with you to this conference. Bring somebody from another church. Let people know that this is happening. We want to bring people and get them to the conference, which is in 2 weeks, January 17th.